Don't ever let a man's insecurities cause you to shrink down so you can acclimate to the work he did not do on himself. Let me say that again, because I don't know who needs to hear this, but you never let a man's insecurities cause you to try to shrink yourself, your voice, to become less visible, to take up less space, so that you don't aggravate him. He's still in a state that's a result of work he didn't do on himself. I'm not here to say that it's wrong if a man is going out here to say it's wrong if a man has certain insecurities. But if it's gotten to a point where that he shows up in a relationship with you is that of an insecure male, because I'm honestly he's a little underdeveloped if he's still an insecure male. I'm here to tell you, you don't do the adjusting to him. He was supposed to do the adjusting to prepare for you. So if you ever been in a situation where a dude basically tries to control you, or he insults you all the time, or he tries to pick apart you for every little thing, it's like that is an insecure man. That's not an insecurity. And I think a lot of y'all, you have way too much empathy for men in this situation because you know how it feels to be insecure about something. But there's a difference between having insecurities and being insecure. Let's go ahead and go right into it, because we ain't gonna be here long. I wanted to say this for the woman that's dealing with a man and feeling like you're tiptoeing around every little thing, every little decision. You're second guessing yourself. You're trying to do the right thing, but it seems like no matter how much you try to do the right thing, there's always something wrong. And really what's really wrong is that guy's insecurities. But again, when you're insecure about something, this is whenever something has happened, it's kind of acute, it's focused, you understand it, right? But it's made you in that particular area of confidence weaker. In that area, it's made you weaker. So let's say, for instance, if, God forbid, something happens to your face, you get a scratch. Let's just keep it real light. You may have an insecurity about that particular scratch in your face. That doesn't mean you're an insecure person. That means you have an insecurity. Now, the scar being there or not, if you carry yourself in a way where you always have to belittle other people, or whether the scar is there, anybody's looking at the scar, they assure you they're not looking at the scar, you still have this fear that they're just going to point it out and harp on. Now you're becoming an insecure person. There's a difference. One is like an existential thing that happens. Another thing is a part of you that you now identify with, you come into agreement with, and it tints everything that you do and how you see the world and how you treat people, etc. So when you're dealing with it, look at you as a one passion, you're naturally don't want to hear him out on the things that bother him, and that's great. You're going to want to create and hold space for that he's still working on himself and developing. That's awesome. But if he's not working on himself, there ain't no space. Why hasn't he held the space for himself before he got to you? That way, with all the way he doesn't bleed onto you. Y'all ain't never asked that question. Y'all ain't never asked that question. Why is it that he do the work on himself before he came to you? And now all of a sudden it's all on you to protect him, triggers and wounds that he didn't do anything to prepare himself to handle. Because again, if you deal with a dude, if you're dealing with a guy, and again, there's things he's been through, no problem with that. Have empathy, have sympathy. But if he just has insecurities, he can let you know. He has insecurities, but he's willing to adhere to certain boundaries and parameters that keep you safe. He's willing to be accountable if he ever oversteps or operates from that place of insecurity so that it doesn't ruin a relationship between you two. That's not what I'm talking about. That's not what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about now ruin your life because himself before you can. Let me give you an example. Or let me give you something to look when it comes to a man who is truly insecure. You're going to constantly see that man's anger be displaced on you. Why do I say this? Because perpetually he really has a problem with you in his mind. But if he knows that he's being insecure, because even insecure people can be self-aware enough to know they're being insecure. But of course they're ashamed with that. So what he's going to do is avoid telling you what's really wrong with him and then wait for anything that makes him angry. Boom, it comes on you. If you're dealing with a guy and he goes goes through money issues, boom, you're the problem. You spend it. You might not even spend that much money. You might not have asked him for money in the next 2-3 months. He may have came saying, oh, you need anything, I got you. But if that money ain't right and he's angry about it and he's insecure, he's going to displace any anger onto you because honestly, there's something that's been boiling beneath the surface for the longest that he doesn't feel confident in saying to you. He doesn't feel confident revealing himself, like really showing his true cards. Mimi says, but do these men pretend not to be insecure? Absolutely, because the shame is there. The macho thing is there. In the macho thing, it's like it's a sweet science as a man. Y'all won't be able to really relate to this, but as a man, there is a space for be a man and man up. We've demonized that, but really there is a space for that. We've just taken it to be unhealthy, to where a lot of guys try to man up in the form of denial for what they need work on. That's not manning up. Manning up is taking control of your emotions, not matching a woman's energy whenever she's not okay, but helping her anchor down in the right energy. That's manning up. Manning up is you want to cry, you want to fall apart inside, but right now there's something to do, but you're still going to designate a space and a time and a place in order to have those emotions in the right way, in a healthy way, so you can process things. That's manning up. Showing emotion, but not letting it consume you and dictate everything that you do, and not running from it to where you never deal with it, and then it comes out anyway on the woman that tries to love you. That's manning up, okay? Like, we've really demonized what manning up really should be, but that's a bit separate of a conversation. But again, displacing his anger, he really mad about this, but he take it out on you. You ain't did nothing wrong, but here he is coming at you crazy. Likely there's an insecurity that's been gnawing at him this whole time, and he don't feel comfortable saying, this is what I'm insecure about, because he's afraid it's going to make him look weak. Really, it's going to reveal the weakness in him. And that's the only way really he can get some help. But you're not supposed to be the one being his therapist. You're supposed to be being his partner. But you're going to find yourself in situations where that man constantly is angry at you for something. I don't know how many of y'all ever dealt with that, but you deal with a guy and it's like everything sets him off. He got a drink now. He blames you, criticizes you, shames you. Yeah, you're dealing with somebody who's hurting and maybe narcissist, but he's really insecure about something. He's hiding that insecurity. Another thing that you're going to notice from a man who's highly insecure as a man, he's an insecure man. This is something you can see quite early on. Mixed signals. Mixed signals. Because an insecure man is embattled with himself. An insecure man wants to be more secure. He's trying to fight that. And at times he wins, and at times he loses. And the only reason why he fights and he wins and he loses is not because, we all got some ups and downs, but because he has not yet dealt with the source. He has not gone to the root. So what you see here is a lot of guys who try to perform their way, achieve their way, good looks their way out of these insecurities, when really it's deep rooted in their psyche and their mental health and their childhood trauma. It's deep rooted in the relationship they had with their dad, their mom, but they avoid that. And they avoid it by escaping, again, into achievement, into all of these like fleeting feelings of validation that they get. So what you're going to have is a fleeting feeling of confidence from this man. 1 second it's going to be like he's just knight in white shining armor. The next second it's going to be like, man, this is a stranger. Why do you talk like that? You never talk to me like that. His whole energy is going to shift constantly. Mixed signals come from an insecure man. Just like if you have something being held together by an insecure screw, a bed, it's really rocky. On one side of the bed is really strong, on the other side is really rocky, and it's not secure. The bolts are not tightened. So him as a man, he's not tightened. He has some level of insecurity. It could be about anything. Y'all, you'll be surprised. Small penis, hairline, legs, that he don't work in the gym. Money. I've had some of them. Height. A dude will project his insecurities on you, and you don't know where they're coming from, again, because it's so shameful to have insecurities as a man. And I honestly think it shouldn't be a shame. If you're a man and you know you have an insecurity, that shouldn't be something you're ashamed of. That should be something that you're able to take to either more men who can provide that safe space, maybe your woman, depending on the level of maturity that she has, or a mental health professional. But the last thing you want to do is project that onto somebody who's really there to keep you strong and to rock with you and to help go further in life with you and to elevate you. That's not how you handle that. And if you give him signals to the woman that can't certainty, that's all you're going to do. You're going to weaken her now from your place of internal weakness that you refuse to face. If I'm making sense to you, put facts down in the comments. Let me know. If I'm making sense to you, put facts down in the comments. Oh, yeah, I mentioned empaths earlier. Yes, the masterclass is still available. Let me see. I don't know if it's showing up at the bottom, but it should be. Facts. Okay, good. So I know I'm not talking to myself. Another way that you can see that a man is insecure really early on is if he picks apart everything that you do. Everything, there's a problem to it. Everything is wrong. Everything could be better. Everything comes with, man, like you still doing that? Everything that you do gets picked apart. There's nothing that you where he's just happy, just glad, just cool with it. Just like, oh, that's dope, that's cool that you do that. I ain't never heard of that before. How long have you been doing it? That's not picking apart. Picking apart is, you like music, you like dancing, you like this, you like that. You always go do that? Like, what do you get out of it anyway? But I heard that some people who do that, they get hit by a bus right after they come out of the dance studio. I'm just being facetious, but you get what I'm saying. He finds something wrong with everything that you like doing. He pick it apart. There's an insecurity about it. Now, this is typically specific to this thing, whatever it is that he's picking apart. This ain't like a universal across the board. He's going to pick you apart because he's insecure. Typically, it's this particular thing he's going to pick apart if he's insecure about it. Because he's trying to give himself reassurance because a lot of times it's two things at once. But he's trying to make you insecure about it so that you don't continue to trigger his insecurities. But again, his insecurities are a result of work he did not do, not of a character flaw in you, not something you need to now come and try to assuage or try to soothe or help him cope or no. We're not doing that. We're not doing that. Don't do that. And I'm bringing it up, man, look, let me give you a little backstory. I bring this up because a sister watched not my last one, the one before that, the one that came down, a lot of y'all missed it, and I put it back up just for a limited time, but the 7 traps empaths must never ignore. Anyway, she watched that, okay? In that masterclass, and it's free, by the way, but in that masterclass, I talked about how a man's insecurities will come up in a relationship or in a dating dynamic in very covert ways that you wouldn't necessarily see, ways that might initially register that he's emotionally intelligent or sensitive or he cares or all of these different things, right? So she told me about a young lady after the masterclass, because I always take questions after. She told me about her situation, relationship she's in. And at this point, it's like she's walking on eggshells. And we typically know this to be consistent with like being with a narcissist, walking on eggshells. And the thing I've noticed is that a lot of people look at a narcissist and they look at the big bad grizzly bear who has everything under control and uses that control to overpower others. A lot of times the narcissist is a scared little child on the inside, insecure as hell about every little thing and consuming everybody else's confidence as a way to supplement for the confidence they don't have. Now, this is not for you to have sympathy and say, oh, poor narc. No, that's not it. It's for you to recognize that this person has not done the work on themselves in the way that they need to in order to show up as a healthy contributor to a relationship. Tasha Moore said your anxiety was off the charts. Absolutely. You see, when a secure man is dealing with you, he may bring something forth that he has an issue with. I don't want to be a part of the bandwagon that says if a man brings you anything he has a problem with, he's insecure. That's not it. But if he notices that take away your own confidence and peace of mind in the relationship, he's going to want to revisit that. Now, is he going to, he has a problem with? No, not necessarily. He's going to want to revisit the conversation, the issue at hand, because this can't result in you walking around not at peace. This can't. Not for a secure man. Not for an evolved man. Yes, I brought to your attention, I say, for instance, I don't like you at the club every single week. I did bring that to your attention. I don't like you going on girls' trips and then your phone the service go out for a whole week straight. I don't like that. I know your homegirl out here is doing her thing. You got 2 or 3 of them that's still single, living that life. I don't like you going out with them till 4 a.m. I don't like that. All right. Let's say a man brings that to you, which I think is reasonable. Some people will call it insecure. But if he notices that any of those things is bringing you to a point where you're not able to enjoy the relationship, you're not comfortable sharing with him things that you are into, or you're just not comfortable anymore. He's going to want to revisit that to find a middle ground, because the ultimate goal is not that you do everything he says do. The ultimate goal is that both of you find common ground for peace and safety and security in a relationship. That's the difference. You said it'd be different if they try to talk to you about it instead of all the manipulation. Absolutely. That's the difference. Another way that you know that man is insecure up front is whenever he can't separate past from present. And this is, I'll be short on this one, because when you hear a guy that constantly talks about, yeah, this happened before, just like she did me last time, Yeah, here we go again, because I know this is what goes, or, girl back when I was 18 years old, thing to me. If he can't separate past from present, that has already created insecurity in him. If he doesn't draw a line, or if he doesn't separate what women out here these days think versus you and how you're coming and your thought process and your value system. If he looks at a podcast or a viral video and immediately projects it onto you, there's an insecurity there. He doesn't even have a foundation. He receives and experiences you by yourself. That's an insecurity for a man. And if it's unaddressed, he's an insecure man. What if he wants you to go out? Hold on, let me see. Mona says, what if he wants you to go out so he doesn't have to be with you? That's a whole different conversation. Because a man, there's a such thing as having lives. So if that's what he's saying, I'm all for your life, go have fun, etc. But if he's literally to get away from him, like he doesn't want to be around you, like go do so he doesn't have to be around you, y'all got some serious problems. And the fact that he even says it like that tells me he's already at a point of contempt and disregard. That's a dangerous place to be, because now the longer that you tolerate that type of talking to, when there are men out here who would do anything to get close to you, anything to spend time with you, you're learning now, based on this man and how he sees you, he values you or lack thereof, that you're not to be valued. The longer you stay there, you got to be very careful about the love you allow yourself to receive. If the love that you're allowing yourself to receive, there's a love that wants to abandon you by pushing you away, neglect you, reject you by pushing you away, eventually you're going to inherit that as a way that you love yourself. Mindful to the sister that. But back to the point. Early signs that you can tell that a man is insecure. I'm gonna leave you with one more. Whenever he needs to have control over, even consideration in everything that you do, even your personal taste. I'm not talking about big life decisions. I'm not talking about how you carry yourself. I'm not talking about your friend circle in terms of the males that are in your friend circle. I'm not here to tell you that a man who loves you is just a pushover and has no backbone. No, a man who truly loves you and loves himself is going to level of consideration in things that you do. But if we're talking about what you're interested in, if we're talking about a passion that you had before he even came along, if we're talking about the colors that you paint your canvases or anything, your hairstyle, I'm not talking about, you want to do the big chopper, you married. Okay, maybe you can let your man know what you're about to do. You ain't got to ask permission, but let him know what you're going to do. But you talking about there's a part of your life that was specifically for you before he ever came along, if he was never born. And he needs you to consider him, check with him for everything. And what y'all talk about, he needs to know what it was. That's an insecure man. Again, this is a scared little boy, a scared little child on the inside that has been convinced that control is somehow safety, that he can even have absolute control. And there's no such thing. There's no such thing. Any man watching this, you can have all the control you want to. All you're doing is showing her that she can't be her true, authentic self around you. So either she's going to leave you or she's always going to have you deceived into thinking something that's not really there. Y'all let me know. But this is what happens when not only do you deal with an insecure, but also you're an empath, that the insecure males, I need what insecure males target. Target the empath. They always look for the woman that leads with love, leads with her heart, won't do others the way that she's been done. And that's the reason why I made the free masterclass. The 7 traps empaths must never ignore. So if you haven't gotten access to that, click the link that you see pinned so that you can hop on over the moment that we get off, in which we're about to, because I got to talk to my mentees here. But the 7 traps empaths must never ignore. And a part of that is recognizing who likes to set traps for an empath anyway. An insecure male. And you can peep that they're insecure early. First, second conversation. We ain't even got to talk about the dates. First, second conversation. You can peep that they're insecure. And an insecure male can only lead you into a relationship that's full of anxiety and depression, emotional roller coaster, dysregulated central nervous system, lower self-esteem, lost friendship because now they can't even do nothing with his hand and what you got going on. That's what being in a relationship with an insecure male will eventually lead. If they're able to get you in one of those traps that I discussed. Again, I broke that down. So I'm not gatekeeping, but I broke it down already in a free masterclass. If you want access to it, the link is right here if you want to get access before it comes down. But moral of the story is this. You don't have to spend the best put your way and stop. You paint those red flags. When he's showing you red flags, when he's showing you what issue, you got to put your own paint bucket away of all the things you know he could be, if only he would be, and what you think he could be, and how determined you are to now be in a healthy relationship with this particular man. Because you tired of dating, you got to put that paint bucket down, sis. And take those red flags or whatever true colors that he has at face value. The first time, or else. Those are just my thoughts. But those, I'm your internet big brother, looking out for you per usual. Else, don't be stingy. You said you want the master class. Do I have any workshops on as an empath from it? Yes. The free master class subject, how to heal from the trap, things that catch you off guard, that blindside you and end up hurting, maybe even breaking you for a while, and on how to heal from it. If you want access to that, I didn't even charge for this, by the way, and I typically charge. But free masterclass, 7 traps empaths should never ignore. If you don't see it right now, you may have to click out and go to the description or caption to get access, but definitely do that, because over an hour I went in, for empaths especially, on how to protect yourself out here in these dating streets. Holla at y'all, lady, y'all be good. Peace.